So as we stand or sit here today, we are witnessing a dangerous and unmistakable global backsliding on the rights of women and girls. From the ban on secondary education for girls in Afghanistan to the abortion bans here in the United States. And it cannot be our charge to ourselves to only stop our rights from being rolled back. We certainly need to reclaim and protect those rights. We also need to accelerate progress and then secure that as well. Empowering women and girls has been at the core of CGI from the very beginning. Probably not surprising, given who my mom is. And also because climate resilience is a women and girls issue, building an inclusive economy is a women's issue, and certainly health equity, as we just heard, is a women's issue. And I think we can all recognize this is not an ordinary moment. And so we here at CGI felt that we needed to be doing even more than we already had been, particularly when we read the recent UN report that said it will take 300 years at current trends to achieve gender equity. 300 years. And so we asked ourselves, what would it take to cut that in half, or possibly to even achieve full gender equity, and if not in my lifetime, at least in the lifetime of my daughter and my sons. And so we're formalizing a new core focus for CGI, a fourth pillar aimed specifically and ambitiously at what my mother has always called the unfinished business of the 21st century, achieving full equality and equity for all women and all girls once and for all. And we certainly hope that all of you here in this room or watching us online will engage in this work. And we know that we have to draw on the expertise of members of our CGI community today and those who we hope will become part of our CGI community, of truly anyone who's working at the intersection of all of the issues and challenges and opportunities that shape the lives of women and girls around the world. And so, since we like to start with listening and learning, it is my honor to introduce you to some of the women who have long been on the front lines of the fight for gender equality and equity, who have persisted in the face of extraordinary challenges, and who have always kept going, and who are calling on all of us to keep going with them. So please join me in welcoming my friend, Reshma Saujani.
We talk a lot about billion-dollar ideas, crazy gadgets that are going to become the next iPhone, must-haves for a life on Mars. But what if I told you that I had a $100 billion idea, a simple idea, one that would lift up our economies and lift millions of families out of poverty? I'm talking, of course, about investing in working moms. I founded my nonprofit, Moms First, at the height of the pandemic, when women were being pushed out of the workforce in droves and replacing their paid work with unpaid care. 3 years later, things haven't gotten better. America is still the only industrialized nation that doesn't guarantee paid leave. 1 in 4 moms go back to work 2 weeks after having a baby. We invest less in childcare than any other wealthy nation. 40% of families go into debt because of the cost of childcare. This means that every day, parents, especially moms, are forced to make impossible choices between feeding their children and funding daycare, between tending to their careers and tending to their families. Enough is enough. To finish the fight for gender equality, we have to finish the fight for moms. We're done performing a high wire balancing act with no safety net. We're done being that safety net. It's time to invest in policies that are going to help moms not survive, but thrive. Paid leave, affordable childcare, equal pay. I promise this billion-dollar idea will pay dividends.
And now I'd like to introduce Nina and Helena Gualinga to the stage. Thank you so much.
It's an honor. Es que estoy en blue. Growing up in the Amazon rainforest, I saw my mother, my grandmother, and the women in my community take care of the children, teaching us our language, our songs that hold vital information about the rainforest. I also saw them kick out oil companies and militaries from our lands. I saw them lead and guide the younger women and men to become leaders. I have, alongside our elders, fought for the protection of our home successfully.
Women across the world face similar challenges where they survive, heal, and lead our solutions and healing of our communities and land. Indigenous women and girls are disproportionately affected by climate change while also facing the challenges for just being born a girl. Yet we are also the ones with the most knowledge and experience in protecting the land. About 1% of all climate philanthropy goes towards Indigenous people. We would estimate that from that, perhaps 10 to 30% goes towards Indigenous women. This is not enough.
In 2020, 80% of our community was destroyed by massive floods caused by climate change. The next day, we had to wake up and build it up from scratch. If we want to address climate change, we need to support Indigenous women. With the right resources and support, Indigenous women can protect and restore rivers, rescue seeds of important plants, reforest deforested areas, and heal our communities from the colonial violence that we have faced.
Where we come from, Indigenous people protect the vast majority of pristine rainforests, and it's estimated that worldwide, 82% of the entire world's biodiversity is on Indigenous land. No one is better experienced to do this work than Indigenous people, and particularly Indigenous women, who have the experience, the skills, and the love for our people and our land. We are building a world where the Amazon can finally begin to recover and thrive for our children, but also for your children. Yet, we never get a real seat at the table. And we cannot do this alone. The world needs to invest in the expertise of Indigenous women, and that means giving us the right space, time, and the resources that we need. Thank you.
And now please join me in giving a warm welcome to Ashley Judd.
Good morning. I stand here today in solidarity, power, and strength as one of hundreds of millions of women who have survived male sexual violence. A man molested me for the first time that I remember when I was 7 years old, but it was not the last time I suffered due to a culture of demand and entitlement and didn't get justice because of impunity. Like so many other women, my career is very different today because of workplace sexual harassment. And all around the world, in schools and in brothels, in markets and in huts, sexual violence is ubiquitous and it is pervasive. I'm also someone who, for the past 18 years, has seen the incredible progress that happens when this CGI community comes together to take action for progress. My efforts join yours and millions around the world, and we hustle to create a more equitable, just, and fair community for girls, women, and the LGBTQIA+ community and people with disabilities. For peace and security to manifest at every level in our personal relationships, in our politics and our economies. We must be free from gender-based harm that is subtle and covert, casual and structural. And I am so glad to be here in community with you today to declare once and for all that male sexual violence is the up with which we will not put. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite my very dear friend, Didi Bertrand Farmer, to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I practice global health in Africa and the Caribbean for the last 27 years, serving with many leading institutions, including Partners in Health and the University of Miami's Global Institute. More than ever, we need comprehensive and integrated healthcare and social protection for adolescent girls and young women. Today, I choose to bring attention to the problematic of teenage pregnancy and mental health. Quickly notice the data here. Globally, today, there are about 880 million adolescent girls and young women aged 15 to 24. That's 12% of the world's population. And most of them live in the low and middle income countries. Of them, 120 million are not in traditional education nor in professional training. Each year, 21 million got pregnant and 12 million gave birth. These young women do not just bear the brunt of maternal mortality, HIV infection, violence, depression, and anxiety, but poverty, gender discrimination, unemployment, political instability, natural disasters, and migration, to name a few. This is especially the situation of my home country, Haiti. Today, I stand here to ask the CGI community to join me in We Commit to increase access to financial resources and build strong partnership and collaboration with grassroots organizations so we can pave the way forward once for all for the 12%, on which the world's future depends. Together, let's continue to strengthen health and social protection structures and systems to better serve the most marginalized ones and left no one behind.
And now, as it is always my honor, I'd like all of you to warmly welcome someone that I have had the enormous privilege of quite literally looking up to my whole life until I became taller than her. Please join me in welcoming certainly one of my incredible heroes and someone I'm so thankful I get to call my mom, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Well,
Thank you, Chelsea. You're also an inspiration to me and to all here on the stage and all of you and so many, literally millions around the world who share our commitment to make gender equality a reality. Now, we know well that no one person can do this alone, a theme of our plenary this morning. But the good news is we don't have to. Every single person in this room is an ally in the fight for the rights of women and girls. As Chelsea said, when we come together to forge partnerships and open new pathways to progress, we can do extraordinary things. Now, we saw that 30 years ago when delegates from around the world came to Beijing to shine a spotlight on the status of women and girls. And from that conference, we spoke to the world with one voice, a voice that said very clearly women's rights are human rights, and that moving toward the fulfillment of those rights is an urgent call. Since then, generations of leaders and activists and truly people from every walk of life, especially our truth tellers, who you've heard from now, have answered that call, including the women that we heard from who represent the voices of so many others. But let's be honest, the work is far from done. So it is time to close the wage gap once and for all. It is time to protect and expand access to reproductive health care, including safe abortion and quality maternity care once and for all. It is time to ensure that every girl, everywhere, can get the education she deserves to have once and for all. It is time to end gender-based violence and the excuses that keep it in the lives of our girls and women forever. It is time to tackle and end the climate crisis, which most disproportionately affects women and girls. And yes, it is time to end bigotry, discrimination, racism, misogyny, all of the ideologies that still stalk us once and for all. And it is time, finally, to make it old news to say that women's rights are human rights. I mean, I'm very grateful I had the chance to say that. I didn't think I'd still be saying it. Literally all over the world, day in and day out, because I thought we would have not only made progress, which we have, but we would have kept building on that progress, leading toward real equality. Now, many of you know there is an old saying that I particularly like: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. None of us can do this work alone. We need your ideas, your energy, your commitments. We need your commitments to action right here at CGI. We're excited by what we're doing to really formalize and integrate so much of our work into this fourth pillar on women and girls. So thank you for being here to be part of making this commitment real, for helping us to shape and inform this urgent effort, to bringing us your ideas about what you see as pressing needs. You know, women and girls here in this country and around the world face a lot of the same challenges. the same challenges that we have faced for a very long time. But we're also facing new challenges, aren't we? Brought about by climate change, new technology, new conflicts, refugee crisis, so much else. But we have never been more powerful or more committed. People ask me all the time, in the face of everything going on in the world, whether I remain optimistic. And I always say, yes, I do. I'm sometimes quick to add, I am an optimist who worries a lot, but I'm worrying so that we can bring people together to get things done, not to throw up my hands or to wring them, but to roll up my sleeves. I think we're up to the task together, and it's never been more urgent. So let's get to work and let's keep going. Thank you all so much.